I found the engagement ring before I found the note. And that detail still messes with my head. Because the ring was warm from my pocket, and the note was cold. For words. No explanation. No name. And in that moment, standing half awake in my kitchen, I didn't know it yet, but my life had already split in two. If you've ever been told you're overreacting when you knew something was wrong. If you've ever been asked to trust someone who wasn't respecting you. Hit like, subscribe, and stay until the end. Because this story isn't about jealousy. It's about boundaries. In the quiet moment when you finally stop negotiating your self-respect. I found the ring before I found the note. The velvet box sat heavy in my pocket, warm from my body heat, like it already knew it was about to ruin my life. I'd taken it out one last time before work, not to admire it, but to reassure myself this was real. 3 years together. 3 years of shared rent, shared groceries, shared routines. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. I walked into the kitchen expecting the smell of coffee. Instead, there was silence. No hum of the fridge. No radio. No movement. Just a yellow sticky note slapped crookedly onto the fridge. For words. Written in her handwriting. Had to help someone. No name. No explanation. No happy birthday. I stood there in my boxers, staring at it like it might grow a conscience and explain itself. It didn't. I peeled it off, crumpled it, dropped it into the trash, and told myself not to read into it. Because that's what reasonable adults do, right? They ignore the feeling tightening in their chest and call it maturity. It was a Tuesday, my birthday. Work passed in a blur of meetings and emails. My coworker Mark asked what I had planned. I smiled and said, "My girlfriend's got something planned later." The lie tasted dry in my mouth. At 6, I texted her, "You coming home soon?" No reply. 7. Nothing. By 8:30, my phone buzzed. Can't talk long. Then another. "I'm helping someone through a tough time." I called her. She answered on the 4th ring. Music in the background. Laughter. The kind of sound that doesn't belong to a crisis. "Where are you?" I asked. A pause. Long enough to feel intentional. "I'm at Ryan's place." Ryan. Her ex. 2 years together before me. Ancient history, she'd always said. I laughed. A short, hollow sound. "You're at your ex's house." "He's struggling," she said. "He needed someone to talk to." When I reminded her it was my birthday, she sighed. "Not everything revolves around you." Then came the line, the one that still echoes. "If you trusted me, you'd understand." Trust wasn't the issue. Respect was. "Are you coming home?" I asked. Another pause. "I don't know. Probably not." I ended the call. The apartment felt too big. Too quiet. I went to the bedroom and opened the top drawer. Under old t-shirts sat the velvet box. I held it, felt its weight, thought about the restaurant reservation, the walk by the lake, the speech I'd rehearsed. The clock read 10:47. She wasn't coming home. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. Somewhere near midnight, a strange calm settled in. Not peace. Clarity. When she finally walked through that door, whenever that would be, something would already be different. She came home the next night around 11. I heard the key first. Then footsteps. Slow. Careful. I was in the bedroom folding clothes into an old suitcase. Methodical. Shirts. Jeans. Socks. She stopped in the doorway. "What are you doing?" I didn't answer. "Hey," she snapped. "I'm talking to you." "Where were you last night?" I asked calmly. "At Ryan's." "I told you." "Where did you sleep?" She blinked once. "On the couch." Obviously. Obviously. I zipped the suitcase. The sound was louder than it should have been. "You're throwing away 3 years over nothing," she said. "Absolutely nothing." I opened a drawer, pulled out the velvet box. She went pale. "Wait, is that?" I slid it into my jacket pocket. "Please," she said. "Just wait." "You chose him," I said quietly. "On my birthday, I chose to help someone. You chose to stay with another man while I waited." She grabbed my arm. "That ring, were you going to?" "Yes." Her voice broke. "I didn't know." "You didn't need to know," I said. "You just needed to be there." She cried. Real tears. "That's not fair." I almost laughed. "If I'd told you, you would have chosen differently," I said. "And that's the problem." I walked past her. This time, she didn't stop me. I stayed at my friend Jason's place. Didn't check my phone. Didn't need to. The next morning, it exploded with messages. Apologies. Accusations. Anger. You're dramatic. You're selfish. You're cruel. I went to work like nothing had happened. Around noon, her friend Lauren called. She made one mistake, she said. You're throwing everything away. Did she tell you where she slept? I asked. Silence. She stayed at her ex's house, I said. On my birthday. She didn't argue after that. That afternoon, my ex showed up at my office. I told reception I was unavailable. Through the glass, I saw her scanning the hallway. She left. Later, a mutual friend texted. She says you overreacted. I replied. She stayed the night with her ex. I had an engagement ring. Typing dots. Then silence. Claire asked me to meet for coffee. She looked nervous. She's been talking to Ryan for months, she admitted. Texting. Calling. Meeting for lunch. Something clicked. Not shock. Recognition. I saw a message once, Claire said. Something about missing her. I thanked her. Left. And felt nothing but clarity. I rented a small house. Month to month. Quiet. On my way back, I saw her parked across the street. She stepped in front of my car. Do you still have the ring? She asked. I returned it. Her face collapsed. She cried. Promise change. I listened, then left, and felt something loosen inside me. Life got quieter, cleaner. I moved in, bought mismatched furniture, cooked without criticism, worked late without guilt. One afternoon, Claire told me she'd seen my ex holding hand with Ryan. Good for them, I said, and meant it. Later, she showed up at my door. Different haircut, same nervous energy. She said she was officially with him. Asked if I hated her. No, asked if I loved her. I loved who I thought you were. She left quietly. I closed the door and leaned against it. The house felt solid. Weeks later, she came again. Said it ended badly. Said she made a mistake. I grilled dinner while she talked. When she asked if I missed her, I said no. She didn't believe me. That's your problem, I said. This isn't cold, I added. Cold would have been revenge. This is boundaries. She left and didn't come back. Months later, I drove past the jewelry store. Stopped in. The salesman smiled. How have you been? Better, I said, and meant it. Peace isn't loud. It doesn't argue. It feels like standing upright after years of leaning. If you're standing at a crossroads you never asked for, remember this. Trust doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. Love doesn't require self-erasure. And walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes it's clarity. If this story hit close to home, like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Backhand index pointing right, what would you have done? And don't forget, the quiet decision to choose yourself can change everything.